Hello, my name's Justin Hartree and I'm here again at the Oxfam Supply Centre. A while ago we announced the launch of the new version of the Oxfam steel tank kit. It has an improved roof and a new line of material. Today we're making a video about the assembly of the new roof design. It's going to be part of a series of videos looking at each of the steps of a total steel tank assembly. So watch out for the others coming online. The new steel roof design is very different to the old one. The roof is assembled by attaching galvanized steel sheets to a pair of beams which rest on the tank's steel walls. The result is a low-profile dome structure. This design is about 40% cheaper and 20% lighter than the previous version. And when compared with the low-cost alternative PVC roof, it will be considerably more durable over time. The roof kit is going to come delivered in a single wooden crate. Now it'll contain all the panels and it'll contain the beams and the other components for the kit. But apart from that, it's going to have a few other bits and pieces in it. We include some PPE, some safety equipment, some safety wear for your workers. Now, there's going to be gloves for anyone who's handling the sheets because these are sharp. There's going to be some equipment for the people who have to work inside the tank. So we've got a couple of hard hats, a couple of neck protectors, and we've got some special thick socks so that the people inside don't damage the liner. There's a few tools with it. We've got the spanners, combination spanners, and we've got this. This is called a podger. The pointy end is used for aligning your roof panels, and you've got a spanner on the other end. All your fastenings and fixings are going to come in separate packs. They'll be marked and counted so you've got the right number for each stage of the process. We've also got a rubber mat. Now the rubber mat you'll need to put down inside the tank just to protect the liner from anyone who's moving around or from any ladders and things like that. Finally, we've got the instruction manual. Now we've put a good bit of time into this and it's a simple, easy to follow, step-by-step document. If you lose it, you can always download it from our website as well. But you're going to need someone holding this in your team right through the build and referring back to it. The assembly is quite simple if you follow it logically in the right order. If not, you'll get yourself in problems. What we don't provide is the team you're going to need to assemble the roof. You're going to need 4 people for this minimum. 1 person to supervise and oversee the quality control. Today that's me. And 3 others. Someone to work inside the tank and 2 to work on the outside. There's a lot of quality issues here. You don't want to drop anything into the tank that could damage the liner. And there are safety issues. There's plenty of things you can cut yourself on, or hit your head on, or even fall off. We want to mitigate all those risks. Having more people may seem to make it quicker, but it's going to make everything less easy to control. We wouldn't recommend more than 5. Right, so we've looked at all the components in the box, and we've got ourselves a team together. We're going to start to assemble the roof. The first thing is to put the beams together. Now these come as 2 beams, each made of 3 parts. Just lay them out on the ground in position and then bolt them together. These beams will support the whole roof, so it's important to get this bit right. Make sure that you remember to fit the washers in the right places. There's a flat washer on either side of the beam and the spring washer will go against the nut. Make sure the bolts are done up good and tight. Remember that the beams are the only structural element of the roof, and so it is important to make sure everything is tight and secure. So this is the position of a flange. This could be the high-level inlet, and it could be the washout. But the beams are going to be mounted equal distance. The ends of the beams will be equal distance from this flange. So we're going to put one here, roughly. It has a rubber mat to protect the liner, and the easy clamp fits over there. And the second one will go on here. Again, with this rubber mat. And we'll check that, pulling it down so it protects the liner. So you bring the beam into position, and it's heavy, it's a heavy piece of steel, but you can rest it on the capping on the roof, on the top of the tank wall. Then you can maneuver one end into position. And when you've done that, you can make sure the other end's in position. You can bring the easy clamp to the right position for it. So with the first beam in position, we're now going to measure across to the bracket for the second beam. These need to be 2.78 meters apart, center to center. That way a bit. And with that correctly in place, we can do the measure across exactly the same on the other side. Now we have the second beam up on the tank wall, we can get it into position. We'll do one end first. Now, providing I've got the measurements right, this one should just slip straight into its socket on the easy clamp. There we are. And now the beams are in position and we know that they're parallel across the tank. There are bolt fixings on the outside of the easy clamp. So just check again that your beams are exactly in position, 2.78 meters apart, and then add the bolts and tighten them up. This will prevent the beams from moving during the construction. Okay, so that's the beams in place, and you're almost ready to start putting on the roof sheets. Before you do this, you need to get them all out of the crate and lay them out. Lay them out according to the diagram and the instructions. They're all numbered. They all need to be the right way up in the right position. It'll make it much easier for the assembly afterwards. So get your supervisor to watch everyone doing this. Make sure they're all there. Get them ready. For the people handling the sheets, make sure you're wearing the safety gloves. The sheets are sharp on the edges, and you don't want to get someone hurt at this early stage or at any point in the build. Now we're ready to start assembling the roof panels. For this, you need your team of 4 people. One inside the tank, wearing the socks, the hard hat, and the neck protector. He's going to maneuver the sheets into place and push the bolts through from the inside. 2 people outside the tank are going to be handling the sheets with their gloves on and tightening the nuts. One person is going to be checking the instructions, giving directions, making sure everything's done to a level of quality that you want. The key here is to install each sheet in the right order, and they've been helpfully numbered so you can get this right. To start with, there are a number of panels with only 3 sides. These can be bolted together to form the 2 crescent shapes at either end of the beams. And once these are in place, they will set the distance between the beam so you know it's going to be right for the whole of the rest of the build. So the key here is to work slowly and methodically, making sure each roof sheet is installed properly and fixed before moving on to the next one. This is why having more people on the team won't help you. If you have multiple people inside the tank working on different things at once, you may well run into problems. Put on the roof support clamps as you go, putting them roughly into position, but don't fasten them yet. So this is the ventilation cowl. When the wind blows, this will turn and it'll draw air out of the tank, stop the build-up of condensation. So I've bolted it to the steel plate here. We've got some foam strip here. The foam strip is going to keep the insects and the dust out of the tank. So I'll just put the cowl in place and feed the bolt through from underneath. So at this point, someone actually it's easier if someone actually gets onto the roof. Now, providing you stay in the line of the beams, it will take your weight. It's not steep, so nothing's going to roll off it, but keep your weight over the beams. From here, I can lean in. And tighten the bolts that are being held from the inside. And I can also do the bolts that are actually in the beams. This way, as I move forward towards the middle, I'm always staying on a fixed panel. Once you've got the whole roof on, all the panels are bolted down, this is how you attach the hatchway. There's a plate here with it's an aluminium plate with bolts already attached, and this is going to come up from the inside. And then we have this aluminium plate with 3 holes, which is going to form a sandwich across the top. Now this is held on loosely with 3 wing nuts. You'll notice that the angle bracket on the top is wider than the hatch itself, and that spreads the load and stops the panel from sagging. So they're fixed loosely. You don't remove these again, because if you do, this piece of aluminium will fall into the tank. At this point, we have the hatchway fixed with a safety cable to stop that from falling into the tank. And we can now get everything out, including Gareth. So we've checked the inside of the liner, there's nothing left in there. We've swept it all out. The ladders are out, the man's out. The last thing we're going to do is pull out the rubber mat. And we've attached it to this piece of string. So this is a bit awkward. We've got the safety cable attached to the hatch. I can't drop it in. And this is going to fit in between that aluminium bracket and the roof steel. They'll be bolted down here at the side. We'll lean in and tighten the wing nuts. We've got all the roof panels now fixed in position and fastened down. There's just a few things we've got to do to finish off the tank. Firstly, we've got this foam strip, and this is a dust excluder, and also to help prevent insects from getting in. Now this is going to go all the way around between the tank wall and the roof panel. You have to lift up the roof a little bit, get it on top of the brackets, and because it's foam, you can squash it into the corrugations. That will go all the way around. Then you have to tie your roof panel down to your bracket here. Make sure they're in place using the podger. We won't do things uptight at the moment. We've also got a bolt that's going to go through the clamp to hold that onto the tank wall. Now at the centre of each of the panels, there are 7 panels, we're providing an extra strap. This is just a tie down for the roof to prevent any rattle from the wind. So this one's got, on this bolt you need to put a second nut. This will go into here. At this point, I'm not doing anything tight, it's all finger tight. And this tightens up against the roof, and it'll pull the clamp so it's pinched against the liner on the inside. And it's held in place, or it stops from coming off, because the clamp can't move up over the corrugation now. At that point, I can now tighten down my nuts on the top, which will compress the foam. And the last thing is to position the bottom of the tie-down strap onto the nut that it will fit. It's got a slotted hole, so it will go to one of the nuts either side there. So we're going to go all the way around the tank and get those things into position. So there we are, the tank roof kit fully assembled, and it took us around 2 hours. There's some important things to remember. Limit your team size, 4 or 5 is all you need. Work safely, read the instructions, and be slow and methodic. If you've got any feedback, please get in touch via the contact page at the website. And thanks for watching.